Yo, what's going on, everybody out there? This is Popular Stranger, and we are back today with episode number 5 of my Philadelphia Eagles franchise in Madden NFL 25. And I figured every maybe 3 to 4 games in the season, we'll do a little bit of housekeeping, checking out the stats, the league leaders, the divisional races, standings, all that good stuff. But before we get to all that, next week a very, very big game. We're going to Denver. We're on a 2-game winning streak, and we're going to take on Peyton Manning and the 3-0 Denver Broncos. So really a big-time game. You see in the NFC East here, we have a 3-way tie with us, the Redskins, and the Cowboys, all sitting at 2-1, and the Giants are starting their season just like they did in real life with not a single win going into week number 4. So gotta love that. Hate the Giants, hate everybody in our division. So let's go here and check out just our leaders right now, offensive and defensively. Shady McCoy, number 1 in the NFL with 422 yards. And in a moment, we're going to see if Shady's fate is going to find himself on the injury report or if he'll be able to play next week. You guys saw as I was trying to pad his stats at the end of the game last week, he did go down with an injury, and I'm hoping, I haven't really checked the news here, so I'm hoping he's not on this injury report. Nick Foles, 29th in the NFL with only 455 passing yards, but he's been very, very accurate, and we will check that out. Defensively, Bradley Fletcher, the cornerback that we acquired from the Rams last season, and I thought had a really good season. Not statistically, but me myself watching every single Eagles game. I certainly liked the way he played. He had some off games, just like anybody else, but I thought he played really well. He's 3rd in the NFL with 2 interceptions. D'Amico Ryans has 1, which I'm sure ties him with a lot of other people, but they say he's 15th in the league. But he had a huge interception return back in week number 2 to get things started against the Chargers. So let's check out the injury report and cross our fingers here. And no Shady McCoy on the list, but I did totally forget that Trent Cole went out with an injury in the last game as well, and he's going to be out for 5 weeks. So that's difficult. I mean, he's one of our best defensive players. Not naturally an outside linebacker, but converted that because the Eagles are on a 3-4 defense now, and he's out with a broken jaw, so that one does hurt. I will probably have to put Brandon Graham in there to try to back him up, or possibly put Michael Kendricks in there since he's a middle linebacker, but I don't really play too many formations with 2 middle linebackers, and we know we have D'Amico there. Lane Johnson only out for 1 more week with that upper arm fracture, and I cannot wait to get him back so our offensive line can be what it should be. And it looks like Damian Square and Jason Peters are off of this injury report, so that must mean that they're back. I'm really excited. Jason Peters is like a 90 overall left tackle, so that's pretty awesome there. And so yeah, that's that. Let's check out some of the league leaders. Actually, let's check out the league stats here. So looks like just off a first glance there, and I just want to make sure of one other thing. Okay, so season stats, and we're gonna sort this by the NFL. So let's go up here. Nick Foles, not surprised at all at this, and that is strange that Brock Osweiler, however you pronounce his name, is on this list. Well, maybe he just got in some garbage time, because I'll be really upset if Peyton Manning, let's go down to the list, if he's injured. I would assume he'd have a little injury thing next to the right of his name, and I don't see that, but I really would be upset if we don't play against him. But you see there, 143.2 passer rating for Nick Foles, 8 touchdowns, only 1 interception. Again, not too many yards, as I believe it showed Peyton Manning with 942 passing yards leading the league, but he has 5 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. And I'd like to see completion percentage. I gotta believe Nick Foles is up there for guys who actually play in the game. Look at Michael Vick, 1 for 1 there. But Nick Foles, only 40 pass attempts in 3 games. That's pretty funny. And definitely not a Chip Kelly style offense, but 80% of his passes have been completed. That's pretty awesome. RG3 sitting there at 68%. Tom Brady 67%. So there are our kind of passing league leaders. Let me just go back and check out the touchdowns race here and see who's up at the top. Aaron Rodgers with 9. Nick Foles right behind him with 8. And again, only 1 interception. Aaron Rodgers only has 2 interceptions. So that's a pretty good race right there. Shady McCoy, 422 yards, leads the NFL in that category. Also, yards per carry. It looks like he's probably going to be up there. Michael Vick, 24.5. That's because he's only had maybe 2 runs. But for guys who actually touch the rock most of the game, Shady's up there with 8.6 a carry. Let's check him out on touchdowns. It looks like he only has 3. And Andre Ellington, who had 1 or 2 against us last week, is sitting there with 4, and a bunch of other people tied at 3. Let's check out some receiving stats here. Is Demaryius Thomas, who we got to go against this week, leads the league in receiving yards. Let's see who leads in average yards. Demaryius Thomas with a $154. Doesn't look like we have anybody on this list. You see some of the typical people like Megatron, Jordy Nelson, AJ Green. So shocked to see Santonio Holmes up there. Let's check out who's leading in touchdowns. Pierre Garçon, who had 2 against us. Jordy Nelson has a total of 4. Deshaun is up there with 3, so he's not really going crazy with the yardage, only 122 yards. But 3 of his 8 catches this season have been for touchdowns. That's pretty awesome. And let's check out just some of the defensive statistics. Tackle leaders, Paul Plazanowski, however you say his name. Sorry, my Sports Center alerts keep going off on my phone. I don't know if you can hear that. Doesn't look like we have anybody up there in tackles. Surprise, Kuechly is not up there. Closer to the top. For tackles for losses, Lawrence Timmons with 6 of them. Sue has 5. Thaya Rubin from the Browns has 5 as well. Sack leaders, looks like Timmons might be up there leading that as well. Yes, he is. So that's cool. I don't think we'll have anybody. We haven't really gotten too many sacks. Let's check out interceptions. As I said, Bradley Fletcher has 2, and it looks like a bunch of other people too. Surprisingly, a middle linebacker, DeQuell Jackson, has 3. So a middle linebacker leading the league in interceptions. And did I not see my boy Fletcher in this list? Why is he not showing up here? That's strange. He has 2, and I sorted it by people, and they didn't give him any props. That's weird. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. And that's about it. I'm not really going to go through any of the other things. So there are our league leaders. I do want to check out some team stats real quick here. And I just would like to see who has the most yards. It looks like the Redskins. Most rushing yards I'd like to see here. See if we're up in that one. And we're right behind the Vikings. Again, we don't pass the ball too much. And I also like to see points per game because we've been putting up a lot of points here. 32.3, so less than a point behind the Seahawks, who are sitting at a 2-1 record there. And I don't know where to find it at. I'm going to see if I can find it really quick. I'm guessing maybe I got to go back to this screen. But I just wanted to check out the standings here before this video wraps up. Well, we're waiting for it to load. Make sure you guys do click that thumbs up. I really, really would appreciate it if you've been enjoying the series. I'm enjoying playing it a ton. And yeah, make sure you check out that playlist below if you missed any previous episodes. And let's check out the standings real quick before we wrap this up. Steelers at the top of the AFC North with a 3-0 record. The AFC South is a 2-way tie with the Titans and the Texans at 2-1. AFC East, very surprised there. The Jets 3-0, the Patriots 1-1-1. So that's pretty odd. AFC West, the Broncos are leading with a 3-0 record. NFC North, the Vikings and the Packers tied both at 2-1. NFC South, the Falcons, Saints, and Panthers, which this I kind of figured would be a three-team race, all sitting at 2-1, just like the NFC East as we went over in the beginning of the video. And then the NFC West, another, I would say, probably could be a three-man race, maybe even a four-man race. All very good teams in this division. But the Seahawks and 49ers at the top of it with a 2-1 record. So again, we got the Broncos next week. I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope you guys are as well. I'm out. It's Popular Stranger. Peace.